Woo! Welcome back to Cutting Stems, the after show. It's been a crazy week. I hope you've all been drinking along with us, your Owens mixers. We got I think this was our drink tonight, right? Kelly, Fast Bar?
The ginger beer and lime.
Ginger beer. This is going to be my second one. I'm just going to pour that bad boy in there.
Fran.
Really.
Yeah. Fast and loose, Fran.
Fast and loose, guys. That's how I'm flying today. I love we have the big bottles in the office. But it's a holiday. The office is closed. So once again, we're virtual. These little guys are amazing for your own personal use. Great. If you want to get these, you can get them on Amazon. Guys, a lot happened in this episode. It's been a crazy week. First of all, before we get into the episode, we all saw the Chris Harrison interview. We all saw the apology. We saw Rachel Kirkconnell's apology. We saw Chris Harrison's apology. Now Chris Harrison has stepped aside. And the season feels like there's kind of this ominous cloud now because we don't know what's going on now. Like this, we know the season's all been filmed already. The decisions have been made. Matt has proposed already, if he did propose. So all that's done. So we kind of have to wait and see with the live show after the finale what's really going down. And we know that Chris Harrison is not going to be a part of that. It's going to be someone else. Who? We still don't know. But Matt James is at the point where he seems serious. It seemed like Matt James has his mind made up. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if the top one, but he was sending girls home like he knows who he wants.
I feel like the ending that they thought they were going to get of this season of The Bachelor is not going to be the ending that we get. I think things are going to drastically change by the end of this season. I think that we all think a certain somebody won, considering the way that Chris Harrison defended Rachel, the way everyone went to bat for Rachel. It just seemed weird. It was like they'd never go to bat for anybody this hard, and all of a sudden they're going to bat for Rachel like this. Very strange. So that's the vibe I think everybody is getting, including all four of us. Yep. And so if that happens to be the case, I don't think that's it, right? Like, I don't think it's like Matt James picks Rachel, done with the season. Like, I think if Matt James picks Rachel, there's going to be a lot of questions and there's going to be a lot of debates, even probably in Matt James's own mind, whether or not he should stay with her. So I don't think it's going to play out how they thought it was going to play out.
I don't think so either. I think that you're absolutely right that everything is going to be different coming from Matt, because he already said at the beginning that he feels all this pressure for himself this season. And now I don't know how, but this whole season is just, I feel like it's completely blown up. Like this is what we're going to remember now. We're not going to remember Matt James. We're not going to remember whatever. We're going to remember this scandal, this drama, this like trash. And it's like, it sucks. It sucks to see.
Yeah, it seems crazy to say, but I am like most interested in fast forwarding to after the final rose to see who the host is and what's going on with Matt and whoever he picked. I agree with you, Rhea. I think the vibe everyone is getting is that he picked Rachel. So that'll be a whole other thing that people are going to have to discuss once it happens. But so it makes these episodes, a lot did happen tonight, but it does feel like there's an ominous cloud over this episode and the rest of the episodes we're going to see. I'll just be interested to see, just like everyone else, just to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, it does seem like this season from the beginning just was a little fucked up. Like, I was just thinking towards the end of that episode, like, wow, we're at hometowns now. And I don't know if it's the relationships or what they've shown us, but I don't feel any emotional attachment to any of these potential couples. Like, I'm thinking maybe just because we came off of Tayshia and so quickly, and like Tayshia and Zach C, you guys know, obsessed. I was obsessed with them. Like, wanted them to be together so badly. These women and Matt, like, I just don't feel like we've been given any time to build any kind of attachment to any of these relationships, with all the drama and all the fighting and all the pettiness. And we get that all the time on this show anyway. But like, I don't know if it's like Matt or what's happening, but I don't really have an attachment to a single one of these relationships.
I don't think that anybody is being authentic. Like, I feel like everybody's just kind of two-faced. Like, like when they're all with Matt, they love Matt, but then all of them, literally all of them, seeing them with the other girls or whatever, I can't pick out more than 2 or 3 girls who weren't like in the middle of some kind of drama of some sort.
Yeah. We're not really learning anything about anybody. And I said this last week as well. We didn't learn a single thing about Matt, and we haven't learned a single thing about these girls. They're just fighting all the time. It's a lot of bullying talk. It's a lot of mean girl talk. There isn't really like a what's going on with this person and what's going on with Matt. We're getting nothing. A whole lot of no substance from either parties.
Thing that we do know about this group is that, boy, they love to bully people. They just love to do it. Poor Heather, who all of us had already turned on. We turned on Heather a month ago when we saw all of these teasers of her showing up in a white minivan, and we were ready. I mean, we were obviously like not going to be excited about Heather's arrival, and we knew that the girls weren't going to be excited about Heather's arrival either, but they really just ripped her to shreds to the point where I flipped on it, and I think I saw a lot of other people flip on it where, no, like, hold on. Like, no, it's not right for her to show up this late, but you guys don't have to kill her like this. Like, I got so mad and to the point where I wanted Matt to keep her around. Like, I wanted her to get a hometown rose. I wanted her to be in the final 3. Like, this whole house, they act like they're anti-bullying, and then the bully leaves, and then they morph into the bully that just left, and it's just that it happens over and over and over again. And you're right, Kelly. Then when they get with Matt, I'm like, oh, I like this version of them. I like this version of Kit. Like when Kit was one-on-one and being very mature with Matt, I was like, this is the version I want, not the one that's being fucking ruthless to Heather just because she showed up late. Like it was the whole house it's a very weird vibe this whole season.
Yes,
Trent. Keep going, Bria. You go.
No, sorry. I think that we can all agree that we were all turned off by Heather showing up, right? We were all like, why is she here? This is so bizarre. It's 6 weeks in. But we all knew it's probably a producer thing, right? At the same time, it's like, we're going to shit on Heather, but at the same time, it's what they do, reality TV. Okay. They went so over the line with how mean they were that Trent, I was with you. I was like, you know what, Matt, keep Heather. Yeah. Keep Heather just to shove it in their faces because he thinks that they're handling everything so well. We even saw him say, like, thank you for handling everything with grace, which, by the way, we just got to get rid of that word completely. Like, just throw the word grace out in the trash because nobody uses it. Nobody knows grace. Nobody knows it. So just get rid of the word. Yeah. All these girls are just fooling Matt. Like you said, they get in front of him. And all of a sudden, it's like Jasenia, which we just saw her go home. So fake. Like, it's not, it's almost funny how fake she was compared to how she was acting with the girls. And then to Matt, like, oh, I'm so sweet. Like, my family would love to get to know you. And it's like, what are we watching here? What's going on?
Jasenia, I've had a problem with Jasenia the whole time. I've always thought she was a little bit like not totally what she seems. And now, like, do we go back and give a little reprieve to MJ? Like, does she get any justice? Because she also said that she was a bitch. No. And clearly they're all bitches. Like, they all suck.
No, no.
Yeah, the answer is no because they just all suck.
They all are terrible. But going off what you said, Rhea and Trent, I think that it's interesting. They have done this before a bunch of times. Like, they always bring back somebody controversial. They always bring back, late in the season to scare the girls. And in seasons past, they've never like had the girls come at them to their face like that. Like, sure, maybe they whisper behind their back or they're like a little nervous or they're talking confessionals, but never have I seen an entire room just like gang up on someone they don't even know, especially because Heather came in and was like, hey guys, like, I know this sucks. Like, I'm sorry that I'm here, but I really had to give it a shot. Like, she was honestly so nice about it. She's like, I know I'm doing something to piss you off, but I want to do it for myself, and I'm really apologetic about it. And I genuinely believed that. And they were really fucking mean to her.
Dude, she started bawling in front of them, and they continued to be mean to her. She was like, no, I know, like, this is tough for you guys, and I'm sorry. And then she starts crying, and they're just like, just go home. Just get out of here. What are you doing here? It's like
awful.
What's going on?
What did Kit? She was like, "What are you doing here, bitch?" Like, it was like a super cut. And I was like, "Oh my god!"
I'm laughing at how absurd it all was.
No, it was it was pretty wild, especially because you're so sucked into it at this point, and they're complaining about being so deep into the season and hometowns, and this girl's coming in, and like I just don't understand how they don't know. And I'm sure they do, but it just felt like misplaced anger. Like they are pissed that there's this other girl coming in. They take it out on Heather because that Heather's the one in front of them. When in reality, like, did Heather say, you know what, I'm going to show up week 7 and week 6? Just no, like there's no chance. If she wanted to come, she was waiting to get permission or waiting to be allowed to enter the process. And this is when they put her in. They just totally threw her to the wolves. I don't know who said it exactly, but she started to cry. And one of them was like, go save it for your interviews. Like, we don't want to watch you cry. Like, go cry. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, they're going to be so mean and then make her cry and then be like, you know what? You're going to cry in front of us. Go cry in your interviews. It was so bad. And, Demi Burnett was on Twitter, and, Demi and Heather are very good friends. But Demi was just like, Heather is the sweetest girl. Like, you guys don't know. Like, she is one of the nicest human beings you will ever meet. And I just can't believe how mean these girls were to her. They didn't even really give her a chance. And, Matt, and the thing is, they didn't need to be that mean to her because Matt was going to send her home anyway. Like, yep. Matt didn't see how the girls talked to her. So Matt already was going to send her home anyway. They could have looked so nice if they sat there and were like, hi, Heather. And then that's it. They could have just ignored her. She was
right. And then if Matt did end up keeping her, they could be mad at Matt, not at Heather. Like, yep. That's right. You know what I mean? Like, that's not even their anger. Absolutely correct. Is extremely misplaced, I feel.
An incredible lack of self-awareness on the whole season. Like, if you like after that whole thing happened with Heather, when they're yelling at her after she showed up, when they go to bed that night, they're like, that's a good day. That was a good day that's going to play really well on television. Like, no, like they had to watch that back tonight and then just be mortified at that type of behavior. It was just crazy.
Again, we think it's over, and it's not over. We made it all the way to hometowns with at least some fights like this on every single episode. But then there was a rose ceremony after he sends Heather home. Heather's gone. We get a rose ceremony. And now, we're really getting to a smaller group. Matt sent home a lot of girls in this episode. This first rose ceremony. This first ceremony, Serena C and Chelsea were both sent home. Serena C, makes sense. Just kind of felt like her time was coming. We were just waiting for her to be sent home. Chelsea, we all really liked, and she seems like a awesome person, but maybe the connection with Matt just, wasn't really there.
I hope they bring her back for something. Like I love her so much. I think she's funny. I think she's smart. And I think that she is like, I don't know. I like the way she carries herself. She has like that kind of confidence that's just like, oh, you're cool. Like, you're just cool. Yeah. So I hope she's on like Paradise or something.
I could definitely see
Serena. I could care shit. I don't give a shit.
Oh yeah. I mean, get her out of here. Those two are polar opposites in terms of likability on this show. But yeah, I hope Chelsea, she could definitely be in Paradise, and I'm sure she's getting some Bachelorette buzz too. So that is definitely not the last time we'll see Chelsea.
Yeah. What did we had the first one-on-one date went back to Serena P. She already gotten a one-on-one. This was her second one-on-one, which immediately my first thought was, oh, she's going to get sent home. Like, this is going to be like Matt's way of testing this out. It's not going to work, and he's going to send her home. But it actually worked the opposite, and it ended up, I think, making Matt like her even more. What are our vibes on Serena P right now?
I think that Serena P and Matt weirdly do have a connection. I don't know why. I know that people didn't sense that, but I thought that it was good that she said that the date made her uncomfortable. I feel like a lot of the other girls would have just, obviously they went along with it, but then would have been like, yeah, it was fun. It was fine. But she made it known to Matt that she didn't really like it, which I thought was good because you can't just please him all the time and be like, yeah, I liked it, even though you didn't. So I didn't think it was as awkward as everybody made it seem, because not all relationships and when you talk to people is always, yes, I love this 24/7. Like, there's obviously going to be moments where you don't like something or something made you uncomfortable.
I totally agree with that. That I think is like every time they have a conversation, it seems the most honest, kind of like you're saying. And I feel like the honesty is something that people forget about, is make something just seem a little bit more genuine. And I really didn't think much about Serena P before that. And I truly thought when she was explaining that she didn't really like it, that Matt was going to be like, oh, well, I don't know, like this, I really liked it and this is weird and we're not vibing. But turns out he respects the honesty too. So
right, Fran, I was with you. I thought her getting the second one-on-one, she was going home. But I think that U-turn, or that bit of honesty where she's like, no, I actually did not enjoy that tantric date whatsoever, sort of clicked in Matt's head, where it's like, oh, she's actually being honest with me. Like Rhea's saying, like, yeah, she could have just been like, yeah, it was an okay date, not my type of thing, not my favorite thing. But she was like, no, I did not like that, and I will never do that again. And I think that clicked in Matt's brain, where he's like, all right, this is a person who's actually being honest with me. I think right now, if I had to power rank, like, who has the best connection with Matt, I think it's probably Michelle right now for me. And then Serena P is a close second because of just the discussions they had on tonight's date. There was so much honesty, and there just has been a lack of that this entire season, that it had to be refreshing for Matt.
Right. There's not a lot. That was like a surprise reveal. When it cut from Ken right back to Norm.
So happy.
He looks so happy. Oh, Norm.
So happy.
Yes.
He does.
Oh my God.
Thrilled.
Just having a good night.
He really shines the brightest when the cameras come on.
He
There's just
does.
no
He does.
doubt.
He
He's
really
such
does.
a star.
He knows the lights are coming on. But the connection is just, when you see like this back and forth of them actually having a conversation, it's nice, because some of these other girls, it seems like you just see their conversations like very surface level, and then the girls being like, oh, by the way, I'm falling in love with you. Like, there's no like banter. There's no back and forth. At least Serena P, they're kind of like going at it a little bit, where it's like, okay, they're actually speaking to each other.
We've talked a lot about Matt, about how he kind of wears his emotions on his sleeves, and you can tell how he's feeling at any given moment. On some of these dates, my guy looks bored. He just looks bored. And they cut back and forth, and the girl is like trying to be engaged with him and like try to really talk to him. And he just kind of looks like, I'm just not feeling it. But Serena P, I think he was engaged and he felt like there was a real connection.
Yeah.
I feel like you're right about that. The only people he seems to be engaged like that with are people like Serena P, and then Michelle was the other time I saw him like so engaged like that. And I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And I think Bree tries to, and Matt doesn't give it back to her, which is kind of annoying, because Bree seems awesome. Like, Bree is trying to talk to him about these serious things and points in her life, and Matt's just like, cool. Like, I'm like, okay, come on, like, let's give me something else.
And I think it was telling that Matt James said to Serena that he's never looked in the eyes of somebody for that long. It's like, Matt James, how old are you? Like, I'm not trying to shade him for like not, obviously people have intimacy. That's not the word.
Intimacy
issues.
Yep.
I spend way too much time with Hank. Intimacy issues. And so I don't want to shame him for that. But like, I feel like that's why we are not seeing these great connections, because he does have trouble opening up like that.
Yeah. Definitely. But it worked out because, Serena got that rose. She's getting a hometown. And then the group date is when women just kind of started going home. There was like a lot of connections that just weren't there. Abigail did not get a one-on-one date at all season. And you could tell that had bothered her. And when she went to talk to Matt about it, he basically said to her, like, the connection was so strong at first, and you got that first impression rose, but then I kind of like set you aside and made better relationships with the other girls and kind of forgot about you. Like, and that was it. So Abigail deserved a lot better from Matt on that front. Like, the fact that he was like, yeah, I just kind of like didn't pay attention. The other relationships got stronger, and she was like, well, okay.
But how did they not give the first impression rose a one-on-one date? Like, I feel like they did Abigail so dirty by not giving her a one-on-one date, especially since she was the first impression rose.
Or Matt fighting
and also, Matt fighting for one, but he also just admitted straight up that he was like, yeah, I didn't pay attention to you. I was too busy paying attention to everybody else.
Yeah.
First impression rose just aren't what they used to be.
What was her line?
They're not.
We had Spencer. What?
She said,
Her
she
line.
said something so
She
sad.
said-
It was
she
like, I feel like
She
I
said,
go.
she said, I'm constantly the woman who makes men realize what they want next, but they don't want that with me.
Oh,
Sad.
Fuck, that hurts.
Abigail.
That's fucking sad.
She's
cute.
Makes me really sad.
That is just sad.
I was gonna say something about
that's
Spencer first impression roses and then Abigail, but I don't want to compare the two of them. Abigail
no way.
Right.
Abigail had a way better run than Spencer. Spencer was just out of there.
Right. It's hard because they are two technically failed first impression roses, but Abigail was so much more deserving of that first impression rose than Spencer was. Like Spencer didn't make any sense. We're like, okay, this day we don't get it. With Abigail, it made sense. And then, it just that first impression rose just didn't get watered enough. It didn't get enough love. Thank you guys. Thank you.
Good one, Fran. Good one, Fran.
Thanks guys. And you know what? It was sad to see her go. And on top of that, Rachel got the group date rose, and we all have our thoughts. Rachel, it seems to us, makes it to the end at least. Not only did Chris Harrison defend her to an absolute extreme, he revealed that she's not at the woman tell all. So if she's not at the women tell all, she's at least at the end or right before the end. So, that kind of made sense. She got that rose. They got to see Aloe Black perform. Do
we know when the rose ceremony was filmed? Or, I'm sorry, not rose ceremony. Women Tell All.
I think it was like 2 weeks ago.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I wonder if Rachel's like not on the Women Tell All because she wasn't asked to be there, or if because she's like top.
Yeah.
Top two.
She's been like a main character, like as a sitcom.
Right.
But she's been involved enough that I think she would get the invite if she weren't one of the top people. Yeah.
That's how I feel too.
Like with the Tayshia Men Tell All, they were, because of COVID, they had said that they did not invite like everyone. It was a limited number of people. And we felt that. We were like, where's blank? Where's blank? There were so many guys that weren't there that we were confused why they weren't there. But Rachel has been involved enough in this season that I think if she was sent home earlier, she would be at the Women Tell All. So I don't know. It's all very confusing, but Rachel.
Somebody sent me a very interesting theory about what they think happens at the end of the season, and I'd like to share it with you guys and know your thoughts on it. They think that Rachel wins, but then Matt breaks up with Rachel, or Rachel breaks up with Matt, and then he ends up with Kit because he keeps talking so highly of Kit in all of his recent interviews that people are confused now why Kit is gone, because he keeps talking so highly of her. Now, I don't know about that. Maybe he just feels regret about Kit leaving, and so he wants to compliment her. But who knows?
Yeah.
I like a good theory. I like just, having fun with it.
I like that too, but you know what I bet though? I bet that he says nice things about Kit because I feel like Kit kind of got a raw deal in the beginning. Like she was lumped in with the bullies and she was lumped in. Like I was talking a lot of shit about her.
She had her moments. She
still sucked, but I bet she's probably better than that. Also, she's probably like a connection that he wants. Like they both live in New York. They're like, she's probably a good friend to have. So I feel like that's somebody you don't want to talk too much shit about.
I want to just it's just a round of applause for Kit because I feel like Kit executed her Bachelor time in the best way possible. Like she showed up. She's 21 years old. She's already verified on Instagram. She's got the fashion designer mom. Everybody's talking about she didn't need the show anyway. Very true, but the show certainly helps, especially when it comes to followers. Like her followers have jumped. I want to say, let's see. I feel like when she was cast on the show, it was in like the 40-ish. She has 250,000 followers now. So that's an instant jump for her. And it felt like the way she sat down Matt to be like, hey, here's my 5-year plan. Just want to let you know, even if we do get engaged, I'm not ready to get married. I want to travel. I want to finish school. I'm not ready to have kids yet. And it just seemed like, okay, so you went on a dating show where you end up getting engaged, but you're nowhere near ready to get engaged. And the way she left, it was like she did it. She executed it perfectly. gets on the show, gets her name out there, creates a lovely friendship with Matt. Matt loves her. Matt thinks Kit's great. And then she bows out gracefully on her own, leaves on her own before hometowns, before she has to get her family involved, and says, you know what? I just think this is the right move for me to leave. And there she goes.
It was very funny hearing her list those things off. And as she keeps going, you're like, I don't think that's, probably shouldn't be on this show. And I think it's a fantastic 5-year plan. It sounds awesome. But I think even her at the end, she was probably like, oh yeah, I should probably get out of here. And because we're not going to end up together, but I'm going to take this, a little bit of Instagram fame. But she did come off as the most mature, at least in that moment at the time, because she's had her moments where she wasn't, but in that moment she was just like, yeah, this is my 5-year plan. You might not fit into that, so I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Just had her time to shine. It was like, you know what? Why am I came here, I did what I needed to do, and now it's my time to leave. So
this isn't for me anymore.
Yeah. Kit sent herself home.
And honestly, going back to Serena P for just to jump back really quickly.
Yeah.
It almost seemed like she gave herself that rose. Did you guys feel that at all? She
convinced him. Yeah.
Dude, it's sort of like a Kit thing where Kit's like, I'm going to convince myself that I'm going to leave. Serena P convinced herself in that hometown. She's like, it's going to be great when you meet my family. I can't wait for you to meet them. And she hadn't gotten the rose yet. And Matt was like, okay, yeah, that's going to be great when I meet your family. It was just, sometimes
it was
Matt,
perfect.
It is perfect. And I respect it. But sometimes Matt gets bullied around the ring and he just like gives them the rose. Like, all right, now I guess we're going to meet Serena P's family.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, he even said to Kit, like, I really want you here. And she was like, that's nice. I'm still going home. I'm done. She's like, I feel like this is the best choice for the both of us. And
did you guys catch how their walkout was weird? Did you guys catch how weird their walkout coming out of the house to the car was?
Yeah, there's awkward heights. I think the awkward height difference.
He was behind her like it was like a middle school dance, and they walked out to the car. I was almost at that point, I was like, oh, she's not going home. I thought she just said she was, and then she got in the car and left. But it was a very strange walkout.
I don't know how you guys feel. I was just watching like a bunch of rom-coms this weekend, and I always am seeing people walking while embracing, and it's so uncomfortable in real life. I'm never wanting to like walk anywhere while being hugged. Like, just let me walk. Yeah. I can't move my legs when your body is strangling me. I don't like this.
Yeah, it's awkward. I remember there was one guy I was holding hands with, and I put his hand like behind my back for some reason. Like I have no idea why. And he just looked at me and was like, that's really uncomfortable. And I was like, okay, well, I'm never doing that again. Like, we'll never walk embracing like this ever again.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. It definitely didn't work. It definitely was uncomfortable. But like Matt, like you said, you can just see on his face when things go wrong. Like you could tell right away when he sat down with Abigail, like in his eyes, it was like, okay, Abigail's going home. It was the same with Jasenia. Jasenia got her one-on-one date. And when they were sitting at the dinner and Jasenia was like, I'm falling in love with you, immediately Matt's face changes and it's like, oh, Jasenia's going home. Like you can tell right away. Their date was fine. They did the whole car drifting situation. But it just felt like even from the beginning of that date that Jasenia wasn't going to get that rose. I felt like that made sense. He was sending another gal home.
So how many girls ended up going home tonight? What's the number?
Let's see. Chelsea, Serena
6.
C, Abigail, Kit, and Jasenia, and Piper. 6.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And it had to happen at some point. That we've been talking all season about how there's too many girls.
We've been waiting for this moment.
It's really easy to remember. It's really easy to remember the girls' names now, which I'm grateful for. But people, they've just been going home like crazy. And tonight, 6. That's about as many as you can send home on this show.
Yeah, that's really a lot. I also, what did you guys think about Piper leaving? I thought that my thoughts have changed on Piper like almost entirely. I really liked her. I didn't like how she was dealing with the Heather stuff. I thought that she was like very pouty when Matt didn't give her a rose, which like, yeah, I get it. You're upset, but it just seemed very like if she could have stomped her feet, she would have. And it rubbed me the wrong way. It bothered me.
Yeah. Yeah. I liked Piper from the beginning too. And I think I still like Piper. It's just hard because we really individually have not seen enough of so many of these girls to actually know anything about them. Like I still feel like I don't really know anything about Piper, and liked watching her. it seemed like the connection was there with Matt, but when you get down to the end and it's hometowns and you looked at those girls lined up and it was like Brie, I felt like definitely. Michelle, I felt like definitely. So even though Piper could have gotten it because of the other women there, it made sense that Piper went home.
It is strange to think about. Like, I could say, oh, I like this girl. And then you could show me 4 clips of them being really shitty and being bullies in the house from earlier in the season and be like, oh, well, that's not great. And I think you could do that for almost every single girl in the house. So it is hard to get a read on, like, I liked Piper as well. I can't remember if she was part of the drama. There was just so much of it going on. But I think I could say I like Piper, and then you could show me 2 clips of her being mean and bullying someone. I'd be like, well, shit, I guess I don't totally like Piper, but she seemed nice enough. Like, I think that's every girl in the house.
Yeah.
Kelly, I'm going to call you out for a second. I feel like you said that like Piper was almost like stomping her feet about how Heather walked in or when she got eliminated. You would have acted the same exact way. If you were on a one-on-one time with Matt James and Heather, Heather walks in, Kelly, you're going to be fucking salty.
You know who I would have acted? You know who I would have acted more like? I wouldn't have acted like Piper because I thought that shit looked like you look too immature. I would have acted like the girl I fucking hate, Jasenia. I would have played that game and been like, so what are you doing here? Like, really? Okay, you had to come. Yeah, that would have been me. No, Piper's feet stomping. I'm not into all that, but I am into the mind games that Jasenia was playing.
I wasn't mad at Piper for that reaction because she's the one who deserves to be mad because she was talking to Matt and then Heather comes in and is like, hey, I'm going to talk to Matt. Matt's like, I'm going to talk to Heather. So she deserves to be pissed. All that other fucking firing squad out there when Heather walked out there, that was not cool.
Yeah.
That's actually so true. I forgot that Heather took Matt from Piper's date and then Piper got sent home. That actually, okay.
So basically maybe you would go the irrational way of it and like the way that was kind of understandable because she got interrupted would be like not your thing.
No, because I don't want to look like a little kid stomping my feet. I don't.
Fair.
I'd rather look like a bitch than a little kid.
Oh man. All right. Let's
you fucking bitch.
Let's send some questions in. Let's send some questions in for the group because now we're going to hometowns, guys. I can't believe we're here. It feels like this. All of a sudden, we've jumped to hometowns because so many girls went home this episode. It is Brie, Michelle, Rachel, and Serena P. Those are the 4 that are making it to hometowns. It's so hard now. I wish that I could be more confident in like some predictions, but I just kind of feel like everything's ruined. So why don't we take some questions? Let's see how the squad is feeling. What do we got, Rhea?
Well, first off, these people keep saying that Norman looks like Sarah Jessica Parker, and I would like to come back and say that Norman looks like Nicole Kidman. Like, I get the vibe that they're going for, but I think that Norman resembles more Nicole Kidman because of the hair color. Like, I get what they're saying about Sarah Jessica Parker, but the red hair on Norman and Nicole Kidman, I see it. So people kept saying that, and I just had to address it because they were like, Rhea, please address the fact that your dog looks like Sarah Jessica Parker.
I like too because Norman's a little NYC go-getter.
Yeah. He's a little scandalous. He's got a big dick. He likes sex.
Yeah.
It's like
he's a sexy man about town.
Yeah, for sure.
They should make a male Sex in the City, and it's just about Norman. Like a dog.
I think you should make that. I think that would be fantastic.
I write a show about a dog who just fucks. But
it'll be Boner Dogs, and then Boner Dogs will turn into a series, and it will be the show that's Sex in the City, but with Norman.
Okay, but would it be inappropriate? Now, this is a question. I'm not saying this is how it should be.
Yes, whatever it is. Yes.
If
it's a funny idea.
Norman was going around banging New York City citizens. That's inappropriate.
It's a funny idea till the first sex scene, and then people are like, "I'm fucking out of here."
And then it's like, this is like illegal. Okay. Anyways,
that always makes me feel. It makes me feel awkward. Like Brian from Family Guy, like is a dog, and so people and he like has sex with women, but it's like you're a dog.
He does.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like maybe I can get away with it then. Anyways, moving on. Okay, let's see.
Nobody look at my lamp. Just it's cool. Just be cool about
I'm
it.
looking at the lamp the whole
The
time.
lipstick.
Everybody be cool. That's my lamp.
I've been looking at it the whole time. I'm
I
serious.
also don't think I totally
All
know
right.
how to use a ring light. Like, look, I just have huge shadows on the whatever.
Yeah, you do. You do kind of look like you're in a cave.
Yeah. Is the ring light right in front of you, Trent?
It's right off to my left with the shiniest part of my face.
Yeah.
It's
Wrong,
supposed-
I think.
Yeah, if it was like directly in front of you, it would probably work better.
For sure.
Let's
Do
get to
we
these
think,
questions.
okay. Do we think that there is any chance that Heather is the Bachelorette?
Oh, I don't think
tweeted
so.
that.
I
probably
think that
not.
there's I think I did see people talking about that, but I don't think this sounds kind of mean, but I just don't think she has enough clout for that right now at the time.
I don't think so either. I don't think she had enough clout to even come on the show right now. Like I was
right.
we needed like a debrief on who she was. Like for those who don't watch as religiously as we do, you know? Like I feel like it's
Yep.
I think it's
Yep.
a no. I think it's interesting enough. I think the chances are higher than they were before tonight started, just because Twitter
Yes,
sort of is now
true.
on her side. So if it was at 0%, it's at maybe 0.1%. Like it's very low. I do not think it's happening. But if tonight would give it a little bit of a chance, but I would say no.
Fair.
What are we expecting at the Woman Tell All?
Oh man, this might be the worst woman tell of all time. I can't imagine how hard these girls are going to go at each other. Like
they're gonna be so rude.
they're going to be the I think the worst part of it, and this happens every tell all, men, women, whatever, they just scream over each other. And this one, just to me, it seems like they will be screaming over each other. It's going to be a lot of Victoria, I think. They're going to be talking about bullying a lot. They're going to be talking about how they treated each other. And we'll see if there's some apologies.
I hadn't
Probably
even thought
not.
about
Also,
it.
too, remember that Women Tell All is usually like the audition place for Bachelor in Paradise, and there's a lot of competition for this upcoming season of Bachelor in Paradise. There's how many groups? 3 other groups of people that could be going, so they're going to be really showing it out. I have a feeling.
I hadn't even thought about it, but that is going to be a shit show. That Women Tell All. Like, there's so many people that can point at other people being like, no, you were the problem in the house. No, you were the problem in the house. That it's going to just explode. Unless there's not that many, like with the COVID situation, I don't know how much different it is this time around. Maybe there won't be that as many, so it won't be as dramatic.
I feel like the Woman Tell All is going to be like the scene from Mean Girl when they gather all the girls in the gym and then they just go fucking nuts in the hallway after. It's just it's going to be a disaster. We all know that. What do we think has been the best and worst dates of this season?
Ooh.
Interesting.
Worst dates.
I think the worst date was definitely that group date where they all had to dress up and like fucking squirrel shit and like play with the leaves and stuff. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, the fall obstacle course.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I would say Michelle's hot air balloon date would maybe be one of the best.
That was a really good one.
That was a very good one.
Definitely a good one.
I feel like there was a good group date that we all liked.
Honestly, I love a good carnival. I thought that carnival is a good date. But some of the group dates, there was just a lot of competition ones. You know, there's like
which I don't like.
that paintball wedding dress situation.
That was a nightmare. Bad. I forgot all about that.
That was pretty bad. That might be one of the worst ones.
Yeah.
I can't think of any ones that I liked in particular. But the carnival one was good.
It looks like they're going skydiving at some. It looks like someone's going skydiving in the next.
Yeah, somebody said. Riddle me this: who gets absolutely slammed into the ground via parachute in the trailer?
It looks like
Jesus.
Rachel. I feel like
Rachel.
If they showed a brief clip where I think it was Rachel in the like skydiving jumpsuit, I think it might be Rachel.
Also, when they showed the person slamming into the ground, it looked like Rachel. I was like, that looks like Rachel. So maybe now, with all this drama coming up. Like all this shit happening, are we all gonna feel like? How are we gonna feel if she's like, dead now from that? Because that looked like a bad fucking fall. I'll tell you what.
I missed the
preview. If she was that hurt, they would have played a clip of the ambulance showing.
Right.
True. Yeah. Fair. I don't know. It looked like she broke her whole body in half. Like
I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
They got me. They got me on that preview. You know, like sometimes you get got. That scared the shit out of me. I'll be tuning in for that.
Do we think, based on everything we know now, do we think that they cut out scenes between Rachel and Matt because they seem to have a very strong connection? And then we see Matt give her the rose this season, then take her to a special thing on the side, except everyone is confused at this connection because we really haven't seen them connect at all. Do we think they edited Rachel out because of everything that came out about her? Or do we think this is just, this was the plan all along, that there really wasn't anything to be shown for Rachel and Matt's connection?
If she doesn't win, I could understand them editing it. If she does win, I would think that they would want to keep in as much as possible to convince us all that they are deeply in love.
100%.
So if she does win, that kind of seems ass backwards to edit her out. And because like what they're gonna try and do is, if they are together, it's like, well, they're in love. They're in like Matt, like they're gonna have Matt and Rachel talk about it, and they'll talk about it from their perspective and their relationship. But I would think that the ABC would like still, I mean, their whole point is they still want to sell us on a love story. That's what they want to do. And if it ends up being Rachel, I would think that they still tried to do it, but I don't know.
I would think that they're gonna, if they do end up together, like you said, they're gonna try to present the illusion that it was all worth it. Like they're gonna give as much airtime as possible. Like, look, we were doing this for a reason. We were defending her for a reason. Like, I feel like they're, at least like some validation. I don't know, but I feel like,
I just want to say, I think it's so hard to be sold on a love story with this show. Like, I don't know how anybody does it. How do you guys watch? You guys do. So how do you guys watch this show?
Sometimes.
Think, these people are in love.
Look at Tayshia and Zaxi. Those
perfect example.
Madly in love. You see those pictures of them at the Empire State Building? Did you?
Yeah, we all know
they were good.
I mean, I doubted this one myself. You remember Jordan and JoJo? They seem pretty happy still.
Listen, I will say there are some like there are happy people. There are 100% can admit that happy couples have come out of The Bachelor. Mm-hmm. But like, how do you guys go to this show for that? Like at this point, like I don't come to the show for a love story.
It's a myth.
It just seems so fake to me. I don't know.
I think
whatever.
You let yourself.
Everyone
right.
You're reasons, but like
you're not wrong.
It's just so hard to like connect to that. I don't know.
I feel like to enjoy this kind of show now, I feel like it used to be easier to get sold on the story before we like knew about all the producer stuff and like the meddling and whatever. But now it's more of like, I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid. I purposely am going to let myself believe that this is happening. I'm going to let myself like get played by the producers, played by the story.
And I don't think it happens every season. Like I don't look for it every season. Like this season, I don't feel it at all. But when it does happen, it's great. It's an extra plus. Like when it happened with Tayshia, extra plus for me. Like, but there's so many seasons where it's like, okay, this is it's a force. It's not working. This isn't going to work. You know that the couple's not going to last. Like, I mean, hello, Peter, Hannah. There's so many where it's like you can't even pretend to sell us on a love story here because this is just so bad.
I think that social media had a huge part in the way I feel about The Bachelor, because I feel like before
the whole show,
it just changed the entire game. And I watch for trashy reality TV.
Yeah, I'm with Kelly. Sometimes it's fun to buy into how ridiculous the whole thing is. Like, it's easy to be like, this is fake. Like, what is going on? Like, they're not really in love, but it is kind of fun to be like, oh, maybe they are. And maybe these dates are so romantic. And it usually, it blows up in everyone's face for the most part. It doesn't work. Claire and Dale, they didn't even make it to Valentine's Day. It didn't even come close to working. But like when it's sort of working, I like diving into that. And that's part of the fun. But it is, for the most part, overly ridiculous.
For sure. And you just got to feel extra appreciative for the Jordan and JoJo's and the Rachel and Brian's and the ones that you get where they actually do, genuinely fall in love and get married and start their lives together. Okay, let's cut some stems. Let's give out some roses. How are we feeling this week? Anybody want to volunteer to go first? Anybody have theirs ready to go?
First.
Okay,
yeah.
Kelly.
Mine are easy today. I'm going to give my rose to Kit. Shockingly, I think that she handled herself well today. I think she sent herself home in a way that I respect, and I think she deserves it. So she gets the rose as she goes out the door. And then my stem, it's going to be Jasenia, because I can't stand her. Said she was annoying from the beginning. I think she's a two-faced bitch, just like every other girl on that show. And it's time. Cut your stem. Goodbye.
Yep. All right. Trent?
Yeah, I'm going to give my rose to, it's a bit unconventional, but during the Serena P date, there was some fake snow that I really just got a fucking kick out of. Like, that's part of the cheesy ridiculousness that if you go back and watch it, maybe it was just like a split second, maybe some people didn't catch it, but if you go and watch Serena P and Matt's date, the snow is coming in from the side. And it just looks like, I mean, they're clearly just like blowing flakes into the side. And I really got a kick out of that. I like that level of cheesy. Like, I didn't even try to hide it. So I love that. And then I'm gonna cut the stem of Matt's rose giving ability or not giving on one-on-ones. He really he did it to Katie. He did it to Jasenia tonight. I know Kelly was probably happy about it tonight, but
holds the rose the whole time.
He holds it. He just
waves it around.
The girls can smell the rose. They can smell it, and he's still just like, but I'm not falling in love with you. And that's just brutal. Like, I can't remember any other lead of the show doing it that way. So it's just so ruthless that I have to cut the stem of that.
Rhea?
I'm torn between my rose. Part of me, maybe I'll split it in half. Part of me wants to give it to Chelsea and her dresses, or maybe just Chelsea's dresses. I love Chelsea, but I feel like her dresses specifically stood out to me. Even the one that she wore the first night, the limo entrance dress, was perfect. It was so different than everybody else's, and I loved that. But I also want to give it to Serena P for being honest with Matt, but also finessing a hometown date in which we did not think she was going to get. Like, it seemed like it was going south, and all of a sudden she was like, yeah, you're going to meet my family. And like Trent said, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna, sure. You just said it, so fine. So got to give her props for that. And I will be cutting the stem of the minivan, that goddamn minivan that somehow showed up again to take Heather home. Don't know why this minivan was so incorporated into this season, but I hate minivans, so I'm going to cut that for one last time.
The minivan had reached the point of Ed holding the baby. Like, now I want to see the minivan again. Like, if Heather ends up in paradise, she better fucking show up in that minivan. Like, she better show up to the resort in the minivan. Because I was with you. Like, at first, it's like, ugh, too much minivan. Now I want more minivan, I think.
Driving onto the beach.
Yes.
Like, vroom, vroom. She's in the minivan stand going up everywhere. Yeah. Now I might give my rose to the minivan if that happens.
It's really funny. It's really funny.
I'm going to give my rose. I kind of have a double situation too when it comes to clothing. Piper's dress, when she got sent home, obsessed. Loved it. Thought it was a beautiful dress. Sucks to go home, but she did it in a beautiful dress. But also, like, kind of want to give my rose to Heather. Like, I feel bad.
That crossed my mind.
That's fair, I think.
Bad that it just went so poorly. Anytime you see a girl just like cry like that in front of other women so instantly because of how mean they're being, I definitely felt bad for her. And then I gotta cut. I'm cutting the yoga date. I know Serena P talked about how she did not like it and how uncomfortable it was. As a viewer, that was maybe the most awkward part of the whole season, of the nose touch almost went into a kiss, but then Matt went in for the kiss and then she backed away from the kiss. Ooh. It was a very uncomfortable moment where Matt was like, it's just funny because sometimes you see two people on two different pages, but one of those people does not know that. Like, Matt thought that they were having like this sexy, like awesome date. He went in for the kiss, like he's feeling it. Meanwhile, the whole time, Serena P hated every second of it. So
that rejected kiss.
Yeah. It was
even when they sat down afterwards, Matt was like, "That was fun. How fun was that?" It was like, she was like, "I had the worst day ever."
Yeah, I would literally never be doing that again. Yeah, all right, guys. So that wraps it up. Hometowns are next week. Hopefully we'll be back in studio to do that. And thank you guys all for tuning in and watching. Grab your Owens mixers once again for next week. Go ahead.
And make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. If you're watching right now on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I see right now. I see how many people are watching. Subscribe. I see you watching. I'm looking at the number right now. Hit that subscribe button. Don't forget it.
Yes, definitely. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you all next week.